Chapter 2. Direct Supervision and Control. There are two key elements that are considered by APEGA when determining whether a licensed professional has satisfied the intent of the Engineering and Geoscience Professions Act and General Regulation to meet their professional obligations for direct supervision and control. The first element is active involvement. The second element is responsibility in decision-making. Appropriate documentation of these elements must be kept by the licensed professional supervising and controlling the work of others. We will now review these two elements in more detail. Active involvement. Licensed professionals must demonstrate active involvement through ongoing interaction and input to the professional engineering or geoscience work created by others. This includes directing, monitoring, and controlling the work activities of others as required throughout the lifespan of the work. Establishing and documenting the scope of work, duties, responsibilities, and authority of the individuals doing the work, including limitations when acting alone. Maintaining regular and ongoing communication with the individuals during their performance of the work. Identifying and rectifying gaps in the competencies of the individuals doing the work, and completing periodic reviews of the work to ensure that the resulting professional work products were prepared following documented quality control and assurance processes outlined in the Professional Practice Management Plan. Responsibility in decision-making. You, as the licensed professional, are responsible for all technical engineering or geoscience decisions related to the work you are supervising and controlling. Before making decisions, you must consider and document relevant issues, provide direction to make technical changes as required, and be available to answer questions and to review and approve decisions made by the individuals doing the work. While supervising and controlling the work of others, you must use your professional judgment to determine what documentation is required and how records should be kept. If you are a permit holder, you must describe in your professional practice management plan a process for direct supervision and control, as well as the requirement and approach for record keeping. Some examples of appropriate documentation of due diligence include maintaining records of the individuals involved in completing the work, markups of the work you reviewed, concerns you raised and the corrective action taken, completed forms and checklists, emails in which you provided direction or decisions related to the work, or any other documentation relevant to the supervision of the work. We will now go through an example of direct supervision and control.
ABC Manufacturing, an APEGA permit holder with several locations in Alberta, requires a customized design for an automated machine to assemble and pressure test completion tools for its manufacturing facility in Grande Prairie, Alberta. The work will be completed by a group of mechanical engineers in training in ABC Manufacturing's offices in Edmonton and Calgary who have expertise in machine design. The engineers in training, also known as EITs, cannot practice independently or take professional responsibility for the work because they are not yet licensed by APEGA. Sam, a mechanical engineer and an APEGA licensed professional at ABC Manufacturing, is assigned responsibility to provide direct supervision and control of the work and authenticate the final professional work products created by the team. What are Sam's professional obligations in meeting the due diligence required for direct supervision and control to satisfy the intent of the Engineering and Geoscience Professions Act and General Regulation? As the licensed professional supervising and controlling the work, Sam must demonstrate and document active involvement and responsibility in decision-making through ongoing interaction and input to the design. We will now review the steps Sam took while providing direct supervision and control of the work produced by the EITs. To meet his obligation to confirm the reliability and technical accuracy of the work, Sam established and documented the scope of work and the duties and responsibilities of each engineer in training. He also defined their limitations when acting alone. Sam clearly documented and communicated to the EITs at what points in the development of the work his approval would be required. He also assessed the competencies of the EITs and provided necessary training and coaching to address gaps relevant to the project. Sam maintained ongoing communication with the EITs throughout the project to ensure that the work was being executed within the defined scope and specifications. He regularly reviewed the work against ABC Manufacturing's quality control and assurance processes. He also identified deficiencies and provided direction to correct those deficiencies. During his active involvement with the engineers in training, Sam verified compliance with all applicable APEGA standards and guidelines. He also verified that the work met the occupational health and safety requirements for ergonomic and loading fatigue, and was compliant with the ASME codes used to regulate the design and construction of pressure vessels. And finally, Sam carefully reviewed and verified that the final design met the standards for quality control and assurance in ABC Manufacturing's Professional Practice Management Plan. Once the final review and verification of the work product was complete, Sam authenticated the final design and passed it on to the responsible member of ABC Manufacturing for validation. Throughout the process, Sam kept a record of key documentation that demonstrated his due diligence in supervising and controlling the work, including checklists of the engineering tasks and work assigned to the EITs, redline versions of the progression of work completed by the EITs, and emails and meeting minutes that included any decisions or direction provided to the EITs.